Did you know that a single bottle of Chanel No. 5 is sold every 30 seconds somewhere in the world? But what if I told you that creating just one signature designer fragrance can cost over $2 million and take up to 3 years to develop? Today, we're going inside the secretive world of luxury perfume manufacturing, where a single drop of rare ingredients can cost more than gold, and where the world's most expensive perfume bottle is worth over $1.2 million. But here's the shocking part. The liquid inside that bottle? It only costs a fraction of that price to make. By the end of this video, I'll reveal the one ingredient that costs $30,000 per kilogram, and why luxury brands guard their formulas more carefully than Fort Knox. So stick around, because what happens in the final quality control stage will blow your mind. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we explore the fascinating world of manufacturing and take you inside the factories that create the products you use every day. Today's journey is special because we're entering one of the most secretive and exclusive industries on the planet. Designer fragrances aren't just perfumes, they're liquid art. They're chemistry, psychology, and marketing all bottled together. When you spray on that Dior, Tom Ford, or Gucci fragrance, you're wearing something that took a team of scientists, perfumers, and marketing experts years to create. But the process is shrouded in mystery. Why? Because a single successful fragrance can generate over $100 million in revenue every year. And the competition? It's fierce. Over 2,000 new fragrances are launched globally each year, but only about 5% become profitable. So let's pull back the curtain and see exactly how these liquid masterpieces are born. Trust me, the ingredient sourcing process alone will shock you. Every designer fragrance begins not in a factory, but in a boardroom. Marketing teams spend months researching trends, consumer preferences, and market gaps. They're asking questions like, what emotions do consumers want to feel? What's missing in the current market? What story will this fragrance tell? Here's something most people don't know. The perfume industry follows fashion trends just like clothing does. When minimalism is trending in fashion, fresh and clean scents dominate. When maximalism returns, we see bold, complex fragrances. Once the concept is approved, a creative brief is sent to master perfumers, called noses in the industry. These are the artists behind the scent. And here's the crazy part. There are only about 500 certified master perfumers in the entire world. To become one, you need to train for 7 to 10 years and memorize over 3,000 different scent molecules. The perfumer then creates multiple samples, sometimes 100 or even 200 different versions. Each version is tested by focus groups. The feedback is brutal and honest. One wrong note, one chemical that doesn't blend perfectly, and months of work goes down the drain. But wait until you hear about where these ingredients actually come from. The sourcing process is absolutely insane, and I'll get to that in just a moment. Now we get to the part that truly separates designer fragrances from cheaper alternatives, the ingredients. And this is where the million-dollar budget really shows up. Let's start with natural ingredients. For a truly luxury fragrance, perfumers source from all over the world. Bulgarian rose oil, which takes 4,000 kilograms of rose petals to produce just 1 kilogram of oil, costs up to $10,000 per kilogram. That's right, $10,000 for barely enough to fill a small bottle. Then there's Indian sandalwood, which has become so rare due to over-harvesting that it's now heavily regulated. Prices? Around $3,000 to $6,000 per kilogram for genuine sandalwood oil. But here's the ingredient I promised you earlier. Natural oud, also called liquid gold. This comes from agarwood trees in Southeast Asia. And when the tree becomes infected with a specific mold, it produces a dark, fragrant resin. This resin is extracted and distilled into oud oil. The price? Up to $30,000 per kilogram for the highest quality. Some luxury fragrances use this, which is why a single bottle can cost $300 or more. Jasmine from Grasse, France, is another premium ingredient. Pickers harvest the flowers at dawn when the scent is strongest, and they must be processed within hours. It takes about 8 million jasmine flowers to produce just 1 kilogram of Absolute. The cost? Around $8,000 per kilogram. Now here's where it gets interesting. Most designer fragrances use a combination of natural and synthetic ingredients. Why? Because synthetic molecules can be more sustainable, more consistent, and sometimes create scents that don't exist in nature. Companies like Givaudan and Firmenich spend millions developing these molecules in high-tech laboratories. But the real magic happens when these ingredients come together. And that process? It's like nothing you've ever seen. Once the formula is finalized, and we're talking about a recipe that might contain 50 to 200 different ingredients, production begins. And this is where science meets precision engineering. The manufacturing happens in specialized facilities that look more like pharmaceutical labs than perfume factories. Why? Because contamination is the enemy. A single unwanted particle can ruin an entire batch worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. The process starts with weighing. Every ingredient is measured to the exact gram, sometimes even to the milligram. We're talking about precision that would make a jeweler jealous. These measurements are done by specialized technicians in climate-controlled rooms, because even temperature can affect the weight of volatile liquids. Next comes the blending. This isn't just mixing things together in a big vat. Different ingredients are added in a specific sequence at specific temperatures. Some ingredients are blended first and left to marry for days or even weeks before other components are added. This maturation process allows the molecules to interact and create the complex scent profile. Here's something fascinating. The alcohol used in fragrances isn't regular alcohol. It's specially denatured, high-quality ethanol that's been purified multiple times. Designer fragrances typically use 75 to 85% alcohol concentration. The higher the alcohol content, the better the fragrance disperses when sprayed. After blending, the fragrance goes through a process called maceration. The mixture sits in stainless steel tanks, sometimes for several weeks, allowing all the ingredients to fully integrate. During this time, the scent actually changes and develops. It's literally aging like fine wine. Then comes filtration. The liquid is passed through multiple filters to remove any particles or cloudiness. This is crucial because luxury consumers expect crystal-clear perfume. Any haziness is seen as a defect. But here's the part that most people never think about: the quality control. And this is where things get really interesting. I'll tell you about the shocking methods they use to test every single batch in just a moment. But first, let's talk about those beautiful bottles. The bottle is just as important as what's inside. In fact, for some luxury brands, the bottle design and manufacturing can cost more than the fragrance itself. Most designer perfume bottles are made from high-quality glass, often produced in France or Italy. The glass is molten at temperatures exceeding 1,500 degrees Celsius, then molded into specific shapes. For truly luxury brands, some bottles are still hand-blown by master glassmakers. The decoration process is an art form. Bottles might be spray-coated with metallic finishes, screen-printed with brand logos, or adorned with metal caps made from zinc alloy or even precious metals. Some luxury bottles have Swarovski crystals, hand-applied one by one. Here's a mind-blowing fact. The iconic Chanel No. 5 bottle design has remained virtually unchanged since 1921, and the molds used to create it are considered company treasures. The simplicity of that rectangular bottle costs surprisingly more to produce than complex designs, because achieving perfect clarity and symmetry in glass is incredibly difficult. The atomizer, that's the spray mechanism, is its own engineering marvel. A quality atomizer can cost $2 to $5 per unit to manufacture. It needs to create a fine mist that disperses the fragrance evenly, and it must remain functional for years without leaking or clogging. Now we reach the final stages, and this is where that million-dollar investment really pays off in precision. The filling process happens in cleanroom environments. Automated filling machines dispense the exact amount of fragrance into each bottle, usually measured to within 0.1 milliliters. The bottles then move along conveyor belts where caps are automatically crimped or screwed on. But here's where it gets fascinating. Every single bottle goes through quality control. And I mean every single one. First, there's visual inspection. Cameras check for defects in the glass, ensure labels are perfectly aligned, and verify that the liquid level is correct. Any bottle that doesn't meet the exact specifications is automatically rejected. Then comes weight verification. Each filled bottle is weighed to ensure it contains precisely the right amount of fragrance. Even a difference of a few grams triggers rejection. But the most important check? The scent test. Random samples from every batch are tested by trained evaluators, people with incredibly sensitive noses who compare the scent to the master formula. They check the top notes, middle notes, and base notes. They test how the fragrance smells immediately, after 30 minutes, and after 4 hours on skin. Here's something shocking. Some luxury brands maintain scent libraries, where they keep samples of every batch ever produced, stored in temperature-controlled vaults. Why? So they can ensure consistency across years and even decades. The final packaging is equally meticulous. Boxes are made from high-quality cardboard, often with special coatings and embossing. Some luxury brands use magnetic closures or special opening mechanisms. The unboxing experience is carefully designed because luxury consumers expect perfection from the moment they pick up the package. After all this effort, the fragrances are finally ready to ship. But the journey isn't over. These bottles are transported in climate-controlled trucks to prevent temperature fluctuations that could affect the fragrance. They're stored in warehouses with specific humidity and temperature controls. So let's talk money. You might be wondering, if the liquid in a $150 bottle of designer fragrance only costs $5 to $10 to produce, where does all the money go? Here's the breakdown. About 3 to 5% goes to the actual fragrance ingredients. Another 10 to 15% goes to the bottle and packaging. But the biggest costs? Marketing and advertising can consume 30 to 40% of the retail price. Celebrity endorsements, magazine ads, TV commercials, influencer partnerships, these cost millions. Retail markup is another 40 to 50%. Department stores and retailers need their cut. Then there's distribution, storage, brand licensing fees, and company overhead. That original $2 million investment to develop the fragrance? The company needs to sell hundreds of thousands of bottles just to break even. This is why brands are so protective of their formulas and why they spend enormous amounts on marketing. A successful fragrance can generate profits for decades. So there you have it, the million-dollar journey from concept to your cosmetics counter. The next time you spray on your favorite designer fragrance, you'll know the incredible process behind it. From rare ingredients that cost more than gold, to precision manufacturing that rivals pharmaceutical production, to quality control that rejects thousands of bottles per day. Luxury fragrances truly are bottled excellence. What shocked you most about this process? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see more factory tours and manufacturing deep dives, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video where we explore another fascinating manufacturing process. If you enjoyed discovering the secrets behind luxury perfumes, you'll also love our next video, where we see how modern bus factories produce these 12-ton buses. Click the video on your screen now. Leave a comment below and let me know which factory or production process you'd like to review next. Thanks again for watching, and see you next time.